Today's segments all day are sponsored by Star Trek Fleet Command. We're going to be playing it at the end of the stream today. It is a Star Trek themed resource management mobile game. You can check it out on the App Store and Google Play. If you do it using my link and play through the tutorial, it takes about 5 minutes or so. I'd appreciate that. If I hit 90 or 120 installs with tutorial plays on that, I get a bit of a bonus. If we hit the 90 goal, I'm going to add a weekend of playing Tournament Magic on stream to the schedule. And if we hit the 120 goal, I'm going to add 2 weekends of playing Tournament Magic on stream to the schedule. That seemed to overall estimate. I wouldn't mind doing more of that. Anywho, let's dive on into our pile of Grixis cards. So this deck is titled Grixis Delve. I would probably use the working title of Grixis I Wish Thought Scour was legal. So we're leveraging both Tome Scour here, as well as Merfolk Secretkeeper, which can make someone mill 4 versus 5 cards. And we're using these on ourselves to enable not only the escape mechanic with Ox of Agonas here, but also Gurmag Angler, Tasigur, the Golden Fang. And we've got some copies of Treasure Cruise here. So one thing I'm actually not sure on is part of me wonders if Cruise is even worth playing in this deck, or if Gurmag Angler and other threats are just better. So like we've got Cling to Dust down here as another escape card. So the one big question in my mind, I think I'm going to be thinking about as we play is, do we actually have enough graveyard resources to consistently use cards like Cruise and Cling on top of putting our threats into play? The total threat density in general is also something to think about in this list. Like against anything super interactive, I think there's a chance that we might just be too threat light overall. I guess Ox we can technically replay multiple times, but at the core we only have five threats here. We've got a couple of Chandras post board that can help close games out as well and generate a little bit of card advantage. But honestly, like going back to the Delve cards in the graveyard, I could see a world where Chandra's just better than Cruise in the main deck, because Chandra is a way to help close the game out while also generating card advantage. Someone asked, did Thought Scour die for the Sins of Error? So actually, one of the things they did that I actually thought was extremely smart with the creation of Pioneer as a format is Innistrad block simply isn't Pioneer legal. So they did the cutoff for Pioneer before Innistrad block. And Innistrad block is a block that has, while it has a ton of really awesome designs in it, it also has a ton of designs that could only be described as offensive. So like Thought Scour, Faithless Looting, Gristlebrand, those cards, Snapcaster Mage, those cards aren't in Pioneer, not because they're banned, but because the cutoff for what sets are legal in this format was just before that set. I actually think one of the things that they could do to really help differentiate Historic and Pioneer more as we get more Pioneer cards on Arena is I really hope we get some of those sweeter designs from Innistrad block that aren't defensive. So like Huntmaster the Fells, Delver of Secrets, Lingering Souls, those types of cards I would like to see added to Historic. Ideally, would be great. I think like the Snapcaster Mages, the Liliana the Veils, the Faithless Losing, like those cards, keep those gone. I don't want to deal with those, but like these aren't busted, but people like playing with them and their sweet, unique designs. I would love to see those on Arena and Historic. Yeah, I could see Izzet Charm being very good in here. Distinction. Izzet Charm puts three cards in your graveyard, and it's a nice flexible modal spell to provide utility. I could definitely see that. So I'm actually not a big fan of, a lot of times, a lot of players push for, oh, we need more powerful interaction. Hey, Ruin, thank you for the 2/3 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Keeping me around. A lot of people push for, we want better answers in these formats, and really, I don't think, and not even I don't think, better answers lead to an arms race that narrow the amount of cards that are playable in the format. And honestly, a fantastic example of that using Historic is think about what Claim the Firstborn does to Historic. Claim the Firstborn makes creature decks and decks that play creatures that cost 3 and less mana much, much worse, to the point where they're likely mostly unplayable against the best deck in the format. And Lightning Bolt has a similar amount of polarization. So Lightning Bolt as a card in formats where it exists tends to make creatures that have 3 toughness or less and cost 3 mana or more unplayable. In fact, two mana creatures that have 3 toughness or less that don't immediately get value when they come into play tend to be unplayable in Lightning Bolt formats. Because Bolt is like that litmus test where, like, okay, can I afford to play this threat that loses tempo on this exchange with this removal spell? Yeah, three mana Teferi's a great example of they printed 3 mana Teferi to answer Wilderness Reclamation rather than not printing Wilderness Reclamation. And the arms race of scaling everything up in power level makes less cards playable. So the answer, in my opinion, from a game design perspective, is never let's scale all the power levels up. The appropriate answer is let's bring the power level down so a wider set of weaker answers can be playable. For people that were wondering there, the waiting for a match timer doesn't pop up on my overlay because Moto's weird, but we were waiting for a match that entire time we were chatting there. Unfortunately, got a mulligan here. These are not cantrips, and this is not Dark Strixures. Yeah, this hand looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. I think I'm gonna bottom the stubby D here. keep my Ox as a threat along with my mana. Yeah, so for the sponsored segment today with the Star Trek game, I have this widget on screen that's tracking the goal as well as having a QR code for people to install the app using my link. So rather than add that to the screen on top of everything else and clutter it, I've removed chat from the screen today. So it'll be a little annoying for a small number of folks, but I think in general, I'd rather do that rather than clutter the screen with a bunch of non-magic stuff. I'd rather remove an element rather than add a bunch of extra ones. This is probably just Take Birth. Their hand is super mana hungry. If you've hit level 3, you've definitely finished the tutorial. It finishes somewhere about level 2 in the Star Trek game. They foretold a card. All right. Play this. We're gonna Tome Scour myself here. One of the other things that's kind of tough or awkward about this archetype too is that we have these Tome Scours and the Merfolk Secretkeepers, but I only have 2 cards really that play out of my graveyard. So like if I don't naturally draw one of my delve threats, I don't have a way to really leverage those cards out of my bin. I think I'm going to keep this and then pass here. If they don't give us something to soft stub, we'll opt at the end of their turn. I don't think I would trust the Magic opinion of anybody who wanted to plow at Historic. Yeah, honestly, that's probably a good opinion to have. So from a game design perspective, at least, that's going to be someone that doesn't really understand that type of stuff. Now the question is, am I K commanding before I Ox? We'll see what else we draw for the turn, I suppose. Also, I guess maybe I'm supposed to save the stub. I don't know. It's hard to hold up stub the turn we do it. They've got Elspeth Conquers Death in hand, so like that's going to exile my Ox. All right, with this draw, we're going to go ahead and go fish here. And then we'll play this tapped land. We'll K command, make them discard a card, and then we'll get to Ox next turn. So I think you asked the wrong question, Alpha Centurion Pi. Too often players ask the question, would this thing I want to be added to the format break the format? And instead, the question you should be asking is, does this thing you want to add to the format add value to the format? So don't ask, is this overbearing? Ask, what does it do to the format that's good and healthy? Fires is legal in Pioneer. My opponent is likely playing just Coyote and Fires. Oh, fuck. That's actually really... We're just dead here, right? There's no way we can. I should have known that they have that. And this is that was probably a mistake on my part at the start of that game. I probably should have just taken the Conqueror's Death with my discard spell instead of taking their thing that did the land and hoping that was going to be good enough. I should have just taken their thing that answered my threat. Yeah, opponent is likely playing just Luca Fires. There are a lot of decks that are in Pioneer right now, I kid you not, are just decks that have been banned out of Standard in the last in the last little bit. I'm gonna bring in our discard spells and our counter spells. We're gonna trim a bunch of this removal. I guess Kling's actually probably worth keeping here, huh? It answers Conqueror's Death, but can cantrip in a pinch. Yeah, it's probably worth playing, actually. It's kind of funny in a way. It's a way to think about the power level of your decks, too. You can just, like, ask yourself the question, like, okay, is my deck playable against recent Standard decks? If yes, let's play it. If no, like, okay. And like this is really good too. Like part of me looking at this list, I mentioned the treasure cruise at the start, really wonders like, should there just be a bunch of delve threats, right? Because like this kind of start that we're looking at here is like genuinely pretty powerful, right? Like I used a Tome Scour and I'm gonna have to play this Tasigur on turn 2 now. Delving all of my graveyard away. So like, you know, Tome Scour into Gurmag Angler, Tome Scour into Tasigur, both of these seem like genuinely powerful things to be doing. So like, I feel like I want to be maximizing my ability to do this powerful thing. Huckster, thanks for the follow. And thanks to the folks that have checked out the Star Trek sponsor. We're up to 21 of those on the 90 goal. Appreciate you. I think we're just holding up Stubby D for the time being. It's a deadline for Trekkies. I have a week to collect them, Scissor. Balthazar, good morning. What did they just do? Oh, they drew their companion. Any of this fires would mention the fat Stubby D here. Yeah, you like my Stubby D opponent? Let's take a peek at this. See what they got. Double Elspeth Conquers Death, Luca. Gross. And they have Yorion here as well. That's super unfortunate. Well, I can take an Elspeth Conquers Death. And then I can Tome Scour. Good. I'm doing well, Jacob. How are you doing today? Good. I love you too, Jacob. And like this game seems like super reasonable, right? Like our deck feels like it's doing something pretty genuinely powerful here. Like this is turn 4. We like played some discard spells. If they shock, and they only had 2 Hollow Fountains here, right? So they can't shock and Elspeth Conqueror's Death here. God bless America. Well, they can definitely do that. They're dead. They're dead to the Chandra, right? We're good. We're good. They're dead to the Chandra. Yeah, Chandra looking great. Hey, Jack. Thank you for the 4 months. Weekly maintenance in 3 hours. We'll be done in 3 hours, Moto. Don't worry. I promise. Yeah. I'm glad we got to see that curve too. Because one of the things too, when we're working on testing deck ideas, is unfortunately, Magic Online doesn't give us the flexibility to make changes to our decks in between matches like we have on Magic Arena. But we can take takeaways and thinking about like, okay, what is this deck doing that feels genuinely powerful? Like what do we want to focus on doing more of? Can we do the powerful thing more often, etc.? Yeah. Tome like the Tome Scour Delve Idiot curve seems really, really good. And like my gut instinct after playing this first game is two Tasigur, 3 Gurmag Angler, and honestly, probably a 3rd Ox too, just to maximize the power on these cards. I think I keep this with the opt. Nailed it. Never didn't have it. This archetype would kill for Dark Slick Shores and Black Cleave Cliffs, but alas, we work with what we've got. I think I'm bottoming that, just looking for lands. Well, they're playing Transmogrify in addition to that. That's funny. I like it. I think I'm just taking their Conqueror's Death here, huh? That card answers all of our threats really cleanly. I think I stub this so that way I can Mystic Dispute the another one later. Yeah, because like this, right? So like if I would have sequenced my counter spells the other way, we'd have been up a creek without a paddle. So our hand right now is Fires, Yorion, Transmogrify. Card here. Sweet. I get to drop Chandra here and get her going. Well, I suppose if they spike a land, this isn't good for me. Yeah, I think our mana base overall is probably a land light. Oh, they're not playing the Yorion. Oh, well, that's good for us. Oh, wait, is the Yorion still in? I'm not sure I fully understand the Moto interface here. Let's start with this and see what happens. Just 2 damage. All right, so I think I'm drawing a bunch of cards here to start. Great, the Yorion is in exile. Okay, so they can Yorion next turn, but then we have Bloodchief's Thirst here, so it's not all bad. Obviously, the top of their deck is super live, and they have Castle of Interest here as well to start scrying, so like, opponent's definitely not out of it. You cycle that Triumph. Valak Awakening. Yep, cycle away. So again, for Fires of Adventure, people that haven't played since this card was banned in Standard, They get to cast 2 spells per turn, and they can cast things for free that that mana cost equal to or less than their total number of cards in play. Let's shock this in, and then plus Chandra here and see what we get. Would love to cast an Opt, I think. Bottom a second Chandra. I really want a discard spell. Yeah, there we go. Okay, if we get to ult this Chandra next turn. Okay, take your Sky Noodle. I think I'm bottoming that. Or bidding that? Yeah, put us in our graveyard too. Yeah, Thought Erasure seems real good in this deck. What kind of game is Fleet Command? It is a idle resource management game. So they don't have a land here, notably. So they can't Agent of Treachery us. So they don't have 7. They put 2 cards in the bottom. That's good for the home team. They played a land. Okay, they should be dead to this Chandra ultimate then, right? Because Chandra ult's gonna pippity pop off. Whenever we cast a spell, we deal 5 to them. So let's go. Tome Scour, myself, deal 5 to you. And we hit the Ox, so they're dead. Yeah, we get to Merfolk Secretkeeper, Thoughtseize, Ox, and kill them with the Chandra Emblem. Yeah, the core idea of what this deck is doing seems like it's got, this archetype has some genuinely powerful things that it's doing on occasion, and I feel like we just want to try and maximize that aspect of the deck. Well, I've got some ideas. We're gonna play out some matches. Like I said, unfortunately, we're locked into what we've submitted in a Magic Online League. So we're gonna play some games at the end of the segment. We'll do some wrap up. This is what I would change and why, etc. Thanks for the follow, Green Grin. Good morning. To the person who created an account just to harass and heckle me as a person, I hope whatever is so miserable in your life that you're harassing someone trying to work a job on the internet because they have bills to pay and mouths to feed, I hope that improves, because you've got to be a miserable human being if that's the best thing you have to do with your morning, is create random Twitch accounts to heckle people you're probably never going to meet on the internet. So I hope whatever is bad in your life that makes you a miserable human being improves. Yikes, lands. I just can't keep this right. This is fine. I think I'm keeping this. So the K commands with the Thought Scours are technically a way to recover creatures out of our bin, right? It's also pretty peak pedantic. People talking about, oh, Jeff came back to play Magic. It's well, I know nuance and detail isn't idiots on the internet strong suit, but I never said I was quitting Magic forever. In fact, I explicitly didn't say that because I knew I wasn't. But as is often the case with people who are shitbags and don't actually listen to the things that I say and just want to trash me as a person, they didn't actually listen to what I said. They just took whatever part they wanted to hear out of context and then decided to run away with it, because reality doesn't matter. We live in a post-fact world. And that's why you shouldn't spend time trying to convince people that reality is what it is, because you're not going to convince them, because reality doesn't matter to those types of people. They're just going to put their fingers in their ears and pretend that they heard what they wanted to hear. I don't have. I think we're just going on a boat ride here. Spell Queller this one, opponent. Wrigley, thank you for the 19 months, and I appreciate the tier 2. Welcome back. I've been enjoying playing Magic too. Like this idea that like you should always enjoy something or never enjoy something, and like that you have to like you're not allowed to change your opinions. One of the things that's really toxic in gaming, in not even in gaming, in just like the world in general, is this idea that like people should say something and then they should like double down on it endlessly. Like when information changes or you learn something new, you should change your opinion on something. You shouldn't double down on your same shitty opinion that you've had for forever because that's your opinion. You have to stand your ground and be proud about it. Honestly, to circle around on serious real life things, that was one of the most exhausting things about conservatives during the pandemic was various conservative sources trying to paint scientists as being inconsistent, and we shouldn't listen to them as they changed what guidance they were giving based on new information that they had learned about a new disease. And it's just like, well, I get that you have been doubling down on your shitty conservative views for decades, but like in the scientific community, that's what you're supposed to do. When we have something new that we're learning about for the first time, you can and should adjust what you say and what we're supposed to be doing about it as you learn more information about it. So he's shocked in this breeding pool. Really hoping they wait to collect a company till my turn to try and hit a spell queller so that way we can give them a soft stub. I think I'm just passing here. I'm gonna hold up soft stub slash K command slash cling to dust. They might also draw with the Spectral Sailor here. And if they draw with the Spectral Sailor, I'm going to kill one plus pick Tasigur back up out of my bid. Thanks for the 13 months, Doji. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. Would really love if they collected company here, though. That would be the Stone Cold Nuts. Rats, they're just drawing a card. Pick up Tassifish, and I'm gonna kill this. Yeah, I mean, and like, well, it takes effort to get context, right? And even to use card game stuff as an example, right? You know, we often talk about how people, especially on Twitch, are so hyper focused with like, well, what's your record with the deck that you're playing? And it's like, well, the record doesn't really give you enough information to make an informed decision about what we're doing, right? Like, my record could be good, but my deck could still be bad, and my record could be bad, but my deck could still be reasonable and something to work on and like try and improve. And there's like just that huge drive for oh, we need that quick sound bite. Huh? All right. Quell my spell, Poppy. This could force a collected company out of them if they don't have a spell queller right now. And if we got to like soft stub a company plus Thoughtseize another spell, we should be in a very good spot here because we're gonna get to drop Tassifish this turn as well. Almost positive. Thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. And thank you to whoever just checked out the Star Trek thing. A few people doing that. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah. You like my fat stubby D? Ooh, they had the Spell Queller too, and they just wanted to not. Sick. All right, so, Part of me wonders if I even want to take this Spell Queller. It's got the most attacks. So it's probably the take. Hopefully this Merfolk Secretkeeper hits an Ox. Like I really want a third. I just want more threats in this deck. I want a third Ox and I want more Delve threats. I just want to like find these cards more often. Is your Stubby D Twitch appropriate, or should that only be for your OnlyFans? That's a good question. Yeah, like imagine this Cling to Dust is just like another Delve threat here, or another escape threat here, right? Honestly, I could see a slightly higher, if you don't think you want as many Oxes in this deck, I could see a world where playing some number of Phoenix could be good. Actually, you know what could be a sweet threat to mill into in this deck too? Flamewake Phoenix is kind of a sweet card. There's not the Escape Phoenix, but the Ferocious, you can pay red and return this thing to play if you have a 4+ power creature. I played a lot of that card in my lifetime. Yeah, old school Firebird, exactly. Primitive Wizard, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. So this was a viewer submission. I could see Croxa being okay here too. Yeah, Croxa could be fine. We could probably play Croxa. I've got Clearwater Pathways as a land that's only an island sometimes, but yeah, I can see Croxa being good here. Ooh, I don't know that we're going to be able to beat this Nebelgast Herald draw. Exile their Coco. Draw a card and see what we get, but feeling kind of dead. They have another Spectral Sailor as their last card in hand here too. I don't really want to Thoughtseize at this point. I'm never activating Tasigur in this game, chat. We're gonna be dead long before that happens. I appreciate the technical correctness about the people in chat, but like we're gonna be dead before that's the thing we're doing. You play this card because it delves for less than Gurmag Angler, not because it has an activated ability. Against like something not aggressive, you'll use this on occasion, but that's not something that's going to be realistic in the Spirits matchup. Yeah, we're pretty dead to this. Nebelgast Herald. Bring some more removal in out of the board, huh? Heartless Act and Anger sound nice. I think I'm trimming some Thoughtseizes here. I want more cards. The discard spells are fine. I think I'd rather have Thought Erasure because it doesn't hurt me though. So, is this a dispute matchup? They have a lot of blue idiots, huh? This could be a dispute. Stubborn Denial is actually not amazing in this matchup. It's mostly just Collected Company. We do that. I like that idea. I'm gonna leave a couple of stubs in because having it for Coco is valuable. Yeah, almost everything but Coco is blue, right? Yeah, let's do that. So for the Trek campaign, unlike the raid ones we've done, I don't get usernames for it as Entoth, but if you hit level 3, you definitely played enough. I believe Scotty stops popping up, leading you through things when it's done as well. Oh, I missed that they were on the Wellspring as a companion. Probably pretty free in their deck, huh? I'm gonna give them the option to turn my Opt into a Doomblade. Would you like to counter my cantrip? Rats. They didn't take the bait yet. Like a mosh. Thank you for the 28. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And Adronis Arcanian, thank you for the 27 months. And again, like these draws, right? Just like, okay, here's turn 2 Tassifish. This is I just want to do this every game in this deck. I want to do this. I want to do this as often as possible. Just like play my fish. Play my giant delve threat super early. This is my turn 2 4/5. Your move, Yugi boy. I can see Croxa being okay. I don't know. I like the idea of having some number of draw threes, and I feel like I would try. I feel like I want to try more Ox before I would try other delve threats or other escape threats. More Ox sounds great. I'm gonna kill both their things here. We're gonna eliminate and we're gonna Bloodchief Thirst. So if they want to sacrifice this in response, we'll eliminate in response. Thanks, Otis. Cool for looking that up. And again, like this is exactly how we want games to play out, right? We like have a little bit of disruption, we play a giant delve threat, and we get to pressure them while disrupting their stuff. Basically, kind of like Grixis Shadow-esque without the actual Shadow, right? And like anybody who's played Grixis Shadow in Modern before knows that like that deck wins a lot of games on the back of Gurmag Angler, just as many as it wins on the back of Death Shadow. So we're basically trying to like reproduce that aspect of that archetype here. And it's funny too, so like, you know, Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time are both legal in this format. And like in this deck here so far, my opinion is definitely well. I'm pretty sure Treasure Cruise is worse than just like other delve threats that kill my opponent. What's going on, dumping? Yeah, we've been poking into some Pioneer again. This is our third Pioneer League since they banned Teferi Time Reveler. So my Magic content is basically just formats where Uro, Teferi, and Oko aren't legal. Yeah, that's exactly right, Nivir. Ox is a treasure cruise that kills the opponent effectively in a deck like this. It's a treasure cruise that I can draw by milling with Merfolk Secretkeeper. It's the real trick. So Bedlam Reveler is legal in this format, but that's really not good with our Delve and Escape cards. So different style of deck that could be good in. This is definitely not a Bedlam Reveler deck. Got old Nebelgast Herald here. Bloodchief's Thirst looking much better than Fatal Push here, huh? If this was a Fatal Push, I'd have no way to trigger Revolt, whereas here I just get to go ahead and kick this and kill their threat. I think there's a good chance that in a lot of decks in this format, Thirst is just better than Fatal Push. Being able to kill Planeswalkers is big upside too, in addition to not having to enable it and just getting to pay more mana. And honestly, someone said Cruise one-time dealer. A self-mill card drawing us Ox would actually be better, right? Like that, or just an Ox off the top. Like even here, right? I'd rather just like draw Ox. And my graveyard here was actually kind of sick. So I know I said we weren't activating Tasigur, but we're actually going to get to activate Tasigur this game because we killed all their stuff. And our discard pile is like all removal spells and opt. So let's do this to start here. Need a Tome Scour? Sign me up. Would love a Tome Scour. Do you want some creature lands? I don't think we want tap lands in my deck, no. I think we probably want like one more land total, but I don't think I want it to be a tap land. We've had a Cling to Dust, which isn't super exciting. Would much rather it have been an Ox, but beggars shan't be choosers. Mutavault's not a tap land. You're technically correct. Okay, our opponent's definitely not out of this. If they find a removal spell for Tassifish, or if they just like have a bunch of spirits here, like we could be in trouble. Carmen Nova, thank you for the 34 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Let's get that centered over here off the game board a little bit. Supreme Phantom here. Yep. They just have 1 mana, and they could very easily just like throw 1 mana spirits under the bus, chump blocking this Tasigur, right? Yeah. We're dead. We're dead in 2 turns in the air here. I really wish we would have had a second threat earlier. I think we're dead here, unfortunately. Highlighting some of the power of the opponent's archetype here. Being able to just ignore us while we're on the ground. Yeah, and like I can go ahead and do this and like gain 3 here. Master Ray, thank you for the 21 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I feel like I would want Phoenixes before something like Skyclave Shade. Like, I know we're flooding right now, but our deck actually has a pretty low land count. I also would like to pay less mana for my threats rather than more. I feel like a couple Ferocious Phoenix is where I would start for additional threats. I want some delve threats, some more delve threats and another Ox. But the Ferocious Phoenix is where I would go if I wanted other threats past those, I think. They shocked themselves. Maybe they won't kill us on this combat step, and then we'll draw K Command. Okie doke. It really matters what I'm exiling here. I'm not going to be activating Tasigur again, realistically. Brick, 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 brick. Rearrange the bottom 6 cards of your deck, opponent. You can do it. I believe in you. Shuffle them up and put them on the bottom. Rude. All right, we can still theoretically hit. If this card in their hands is a blank, this can draw untapped land plus K Command. So this will go back to 2 power on their turn. So if we had untapped land K Command on this Ox, we can kill them if this card's blank. Rats. Good game, opponent. Yeah, matchup seems hard. Like I said, I think the way our deck's constructed, it's extra hard to just like don't have the threat. Like I think if we hit 2 threats early in that matchup, we're probably pretty okay. But the way our deck is constructed currently, we just don't have a way to consistently do that. Hello, youngest son. How are you doing this morning? What's up? I love you too. Do you want something? No? You just come and tell me you love me? Look at that. Sucking up for later? Smart. Solomon one. Thank you for the 3/4 of a year. I appreciate that. Usually the real quiet like slink in and I love you is the butter up. It's the I need you to provide the thing. Plotting his next move following Blanket Gate. They did successfully locate the Minecraft cartridge. Waiting. Do 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 do. Oh yeah, I'm sure that person that was upset that I have sub notifications in general would be really tilted about the fact that my sponsored stream today comes with integrated sub alerts. So yeah, all the sub alerts are Star Trek themed today for the Fleet Command promo. We're up to 250 players in the Pioneer League. That's so many, 249. Yeah, that seems looks reasonable. Not amazing, but fine. Oh yeah, the QR code to get the app. I'm sure they'd be off the face of the planet. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. If you're an existing Star Trek mobile player, it's only for new folks. People are just looking to complaining bot. Yeah, I've like all things considered, I think my sub alerts are like far less intrusive than a lot of people on Twitch. I was watching someone stream, I forget who, and like their sub alert like was literally the entire screen. It like shot confetti in addition to playing a GIF, and I was just like, all right, teach their own, I suppose. I would love to seize their thoughts. Dig through time torrential Gear Hulk. Oh no. Like, I guess we'll take the Gear Hulk. That's terrifying. Yeah, or ones that like play entire song clips. Playing entire song clips is rough. Yeah, I try to keep mine like in a position where it doesn't overlap cards in the battlefield, generally speaking, and there's no sound, so. That's not Reed Duke, that's Todd Anderson. Well, this might be a cast Ox discard 3 cards to get 3 new ones game. Most of these cards aren't very good here anyways. I don't know, wait on the soft stub here. We might get to soft stub and dig through time this turn. There's nothing wrong with alerts, and like there was some truth to the obnoxious person's comment that like what depending on what your sub alerts are, they can cause people to turn your stream off. Like I've definitely turned streams off because of their sub alerts before, and like in comparison, I try to structure mine explicitly so they don't do the things that make me personally turn streams off. Like I don't fault any other content creator for doing whatever they feel like they need to do to generate revenue. Honestly, there's probably some value depending on the size of what you are as a creator. Like if you're a smaller person who gets if you're a smaller person who gets less frequent subscribers, having a bigger sub notification is probably valuable, right? Because like you want to encourage that to happen more often. But I definitely think in my opinion, as you become a larger creator with more subscribers on Twitch, your sub notification should be more minimized in proportion to that. Because, like, for example, I currently have 2,000 concurrent subscribers, which is probably about 40 to 50 subs a day thereabout, because some of them happen while I'm offline. So, like, if I had a full screen pop up with noise 50 times per stream, like, that I think would be largely intrusive, right? I definitely think there's probably some merit to the proportion of what your sub notifications look like should be proportional to the amount of subs you get per day. Big fishing. Do 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 do. I think I actually want to only delve 3 here because I've got double Ox in my bin at the moment. So every card I have in my bin is valuable at this point. I'm always surprised at your musical catalog. Listen, I've got a huge range, okay? How much does it cost to play spreadsheets nowadays? As in, what does it cost for you to play Magic Online yourself, or what does it cost in a donation to make me play Magic Online? Hard cash Shark Typhoon. Yikes. I can't imagine having Texas Speech turn on for sub notification at that size. Thanks for checking them out, Alec. A donation for me. Non arena deck submissions on the channel are $50 and Moto deck submissions are $60 because it costs me $10 to play a Moto League. All right, how much mana do I want to leave up? Oh, this one I don't get to pick, right? This isn't delve. This is escaping. I'm dumb. Ignore me. So, opponent making a small mistake here. I was seeing if they would make the mistake, and they did. My opponent could have fatal pushed my Ox there and made a 1/1 in response. They missed it. So fatal push can target things that it can't kill. It's really, really strange templating. I don't know that we're going to be able to power through a Shark Typhoon here, chat. Gonna need a lot of big bricks out of them. Yeah, yo, you're good, Sounds. You at level 4, it's really quick. It should be, the tutorial finishes about level 2. So if you hit level 3, you're definitely through it. CPT, thanks for the follow. And SDF, welcome to the channel. Oh, they drew Dig Through Time. Super dead. I guess I could draw a removal spell, right? So I get to stub the dig, but they have an 8/8. Oh right, do they have a foretold card still? They do have a foretold card still. I forgot about that. That could be a counterspell. Yeah, I agree, Precipic. Big agree. Modal cards in general are great. Actually, to talk about Rune Terror for half a second, the Freljord card they spoiled yesterday is a really fantastic modal card. Our Ox could find a Doomblade here. Okay. The game continues. Okay. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on an ox now. Do do do. Do 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 do. Oh, it's a bold verse, sure. Shark Typhoon 2, the Electric Boogaloo. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so I only have 16 cards left in my deck, so I don't think I can realistically Merfolk Secretkeeper here. I'm pretty sure I can't afford to mill those. So I'm going to run out of cards because this is drawing me 3 as well. I am a thirsty boy, chat. There's only one solution to my thirst, chat. It can only be sated in one way. Sharks. All right, maybe my opponent has 2 lands in hand and there's lands on top of their deck and these oxes are going to ride them down. Maybe there's a land. So you love to see it. Bricks, 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 bricks. All of the bricks. All of the bricks are belong to you. Are we doing it, chat? I think we're doing it. We're not casting spells, so we don't want to run into counter spells. They can have counter spells in their hand, too. Have another dig through time. Super into that. Thassa's intervention for X equals 7. Oh no. Yikes. Yikes. Bonus deck is sweet. All right, so I definitely want Mystic Disputes and Duresses and Chandras, I think. I'm going to board out all of these removal spells. Probably want Spell Pierce. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 31. Towards a Haley guest spot stream, she'll be down. I promise. Thank you for the absurdly generous tier 3 substitute, Banger, and welcome back. I feel like our sideboard is one too many cards for control too. I guess these are like anti-combo cards too, so they're not strictly anti-control cards. What am I trimming? Yes, tournament streams are me playing an event. Hoots is definitely happening regardless. Hopefully we get a state of the game update today or tomorrow. Mana value is just new lingo for converted mana cost. And for the record, to make my position abundantly clear, mana value is a good change. Because converted mana cost, when you really think about it, is stupid, right? Like, what is it being converted from? Sure, it's not that learning what converted mana cost means is hard. It's just that words have meaning, and like saying mana value has way more context than converted mana cost. Like from a base, like nobody's gonna argue that like learning what a word means is hard, but like having the word make sense to begin with is ideal. They brought in Unmoored Ego. Really? I guess I don't have that many threats. They're gonna like take my oxes away. Ollie Oxenfree. Shadow's Verdict, not so good against me. And again, like, I want you to just imagine that this treasure cruise is a delve threat. Like, rather than spending 7 cards in a mana here to draw 3 cards, I would much rather just be putting a creature into play here, right? Like, I'm genuinely, I don't think my opponent could win this game if I just put a delve threat into play here. Like, and instead, I'm just sitting here spinning my tires doing nothing while my opponent's control deck has time to develop. I'm gonna try and dig for an Ox here. We found a Cling to Dust. Yeah, I'm gonna. We're done. This game is over. I'm gonna play one more match, but I think I'm about ready to wrap on this deck and do. I'm gonna play one more for good measure to see if we can get a reasonable draw again. But it's this is one of the things. One of the other reasons why I like doing Magic Arena content versus Moto, because like when you hit stuff like this, where like I already know what I want to do with the deck, but like I can't make the changes. It's real frustrating. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be done. Let's talk through the changes. I don't really. Yeah, I'm annoyed that we can't change our deck, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop from this league. I feel like I can provide the feedback that I need to give. Playing one more match isn't going to teach me anything about this deck. Let's pull up the deck list and talk about changes that I would make and why. So at the core, I just want more threats in this deck. The thing that this archetype is doing that's fairly powerful is being able to put a giant body into play as quickly and as consistently as possible. So I want one more Tasigur. I want Gurmag Angler. I want another Ox of Agonas. Ox of whatever this is called. I think I want these. Did I already cut them? Yeah, I already cut them. Good. So that at a start, this is what I want to do. I want just these types of effects, like at the core. This isn't a tire spinning deck. I don't want to like spend cards to draw cards. I want to spend cards to put a fat threat into play and kill my opponent with it. One other suggestion that we had from the person that submitted this that I actually think sounds very good is It Charm? Is a card that's probably super reasonable in this archetype. So like we don't have Faithless Looting in this format, but this is a super flexible answer where it like can kill things, it can counterspell things, and it can draw a discard to fill the graveyard up, which is sweet. I think I'd like some copies of this. Fatal Push, I think, is much worse than Thirst in this format, so I would get rid of those as well and go up to 3 Bloodchief Thirst here. I think 3 of these is probably fine with these other cards in our deck. Honestly, the Is It Charmed might just be better than Thought Erasure, honestly. Just like have these. I actually kind of like Thought Erasure better than Duress. Maybe. I don't know. One mana is pretty important. I feel like Oh right, we talked about Phoenix too, right? Is it Flame Wake is the card if I recall? Yeah, I want to try at least 2 of these. Maybe we don't need 4 Is it Charm? I feel like I'd want to be something along the lines of here. Like what would I consider to be core cards in the deck? So I think I would consider like these cards here are like I would consider these would be like the core of the deck. I would not cut these 24 spells. I would be surprised if Flame Wake wasn't good as an additional threat, just giving you a recursive thing that helps you close games out quickly. All of these bring it back into play. And then these various cards over here are likely all good in some quantity in terms of keeping you alive and being interactive, but like exactly what mix of these things you want to be playing, I think is probably up for discussion and depends on like which matchups you want to hedge and which ones you want to be better or worse in. I could see a 20th land being good too. We're definitely a little bit light on lands, and the colors are tough in the 3-color deck, so I wouldn't mind having like one more blue-black duel, for example, to cast your blue and black cards consistently on one. Honestly, I could see even playing like a Mana Confluence being fine. I did create a Hoaglandia Alliance for Starfleet. I think I left it flagged as private though. But yeah, this deck wouldn't play Grixis Triumph regardless. You want untapped lands, but a Mana Confluence could probably be fine. But yeah, so, and honestly, like, what we were doing felt reasonable. Like turn 1 Tome Scour, turn 2 threat with a Stubborn Denial up, or threat plus a Thoughtseize. Like that's like a genuinely powerful thing to be doing. And Ox to draw into as you go long felt good too. So it feels like there's something here, but I think it would need to look something like this to be more proactive as opposed to the tire spitting, treasure cruise, cling to dust type stuff that we were doing to start. All right, let's shift gears over to some Magic Arena for the next